The last banner I saw said, "Make America Great Again, Again." I was like, oh, I'm glad.
It's great, but you gotta think about it like this. Think about Hitler. Like, even once people started to realize that this man is insane, he lost his mind, he's talking about taking over the world and all this other shit, they still followed him. They were still running around talking about Hail Hitler and all this other shit. Like, that's what people are more apt to be, like, drawn to stupid and stay with stupid for some of them. Like, they're like, what? Well, I can't back down now. You know, you have to have loyalty to a point. Like, I appreciate the loyalty, you know, that's admirable, but it's time to jump ship.
Exactly. It's
Jump.
time to transition.
Jump.
Because if we don't, the honest truth is, if we don't transition sooner than later,
we're all gonna die.
people are going to die. Like, I was watching something yesterday, and it said, at this rate, every minute, an American citizen is dying from the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Trump is just trying. He's just filing lawsuits and lawsuits, like,
and playing a lot of golf.
I want Wisconsin to recount their votes.
And they recounted them, and he lost again.
Exactly. Like,
this is doing nothing for your self-esteem.
I want Georgia to recount their votes. I want Nevada to recount their votes. I want Pennsylvania.
At this point, he's lost more than any.
Announced that he lost it, and now it's like, well, now you want us to announce every state that you lost it? I mean, if that's what you want, we'll go down the list, loser.
He said more people in Georgia vote, like, there were more votes in Georgia than
who voted for me 4 years ago.
No, he was complaining. He was like, how come it says all these people voted in Georgia? There aren't even, the population in Georgia isn't even that big. And it turns out he was looking at Georgia the country. There's a country called Georgia.
You know what? I'm
flabbergasted. I'm like, you've lost by so many that no matter how many recounts that you do, it's still an L. Just pack up, take your L, and go elsewhere, because you're just being disruptive.
Besides the fact, like, your kids are starting to get corona. Like, you need to start thinking about the fact that all of this shit that you're doing, not saying they're idiots without what you're doing. They probably are not that smart. I mean, I don't know them all like that, but they don't seem, from what they've said on TV, to be that intelligent. But now they're all starting to come down with it, like, one by one. Now I think it's his son that has it or something.
Yeah, it's his son.
And I'm like, dude.
He's officially become the class clown of presidents. At this point, the only thing that he's done is disrupting democracy, because in the future, when someone else loses, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to sue all these states.
Yo, I can't wait to, like, you know, go play basketball and then lose and then do the same thing. Like, I'm suing
someone said,
everybody on the other team.
Someone emailed their teacher, their professor, and was like, I can't accept this grade.
Fantastic.
That's pretty much how
I want to recount.
My GPA should be higher.
I want to recount.
I want you to I want you to redo it.
Yeah,
like,
redo all of that. I need you to take another look.
Because I know somewhere in you re-looking it,
this
you
D
made a
should
problem.
Be an A. I need you to redo this, okay?
Meanwhile, I'm protesting against it. At the time, Pittsburgh, Ravenstall was the mayor at the time, and he was petitioning for a tuition tax. It was like 5-10% tuition tax.
I remember that.
And we're in college, like we ain't got that. We barely have tuition, and you want tuition to access.
I remember that.
So we would skip class, and we would go down to the county building, and lo and behold, my mom called me like, you were on the news.
You're like, that wasn't me. That wasn't even me. Like, I was so in class.
That movement helped create an interconnected, intercollegiate, I guess that's what I'm looking for, student government association in the Pittsburgh community, because all of our student governments were going down to protest against this.
Because it affects everybody.
Yes. So, meanwhile, she was like, I have faith, you can be my vice president. So we did our debates, even though that was when I was wearing wigs, and my wig game was not great.
It wasn't that terrible. I met you in a wig.
Oh, not half wigs. I was wearing full wigs in college at times. It was bad. It was a very bad wig. I still have a picture of it.
You said I was wearing full wigs. Not half, full.
Full wigs.
Woo-wee.
And look at you, vice president of Black Student Union. Side note, we also had a white vice president of Black Student Union. She was hella woke. We loved her. Kayla was awesome. And you would have to debate on why you should get all the money that you want. Like, we like, oh, maybe you don't need all the things that you say you need.
Sure. We just had to do that my last semester. We had to, like, for our business proposal, they basically made us kind of become lawyers. They were like, if you had to stand in front of people that you were asking for funds from, what would be your argument? What would you say to try to persuade them to give you this money? You know, and you know, we couldn't even memorize. He just said, you've given us your presentation, and very great, but now I need to know that you have it in here and in here. So on the fly, we had to stand up and just stand in front of the class and convince them.
I was right.
Yeah, but you weren't. It's okay. But it made you, like, passionate about what you're doing. Like, if you're really passionate about what you're arguing for, you don't need a piece of paper in front of you to tell you what you need.
It looked wrong.
Because the school that I went to didn't have a student government at the time. If you wanted to run for president, you just submitted an application.
That's how ours was.
And
I worked for Student Life for a while, and
I helped create a student government with senators, even though I didn't win.
No, I love doing that. Stop.
you're so special. But yeah, those are the things that I think we need to get more people who are either going into college, and even some high schools have it, like, because they're so interested in all these other activities. You know, I always think about sports. I'm like, student government is awesome because it changes everything around you. Like, you can argue for things that matter to you, where you have to go to school. I mean, now
we helped create a new student commons that we never actually got to see, like, but we got to vote and select these things.
Yeah.
And I did when I think it was last year, I got to go back and speak to one of the classes or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I got to see, I was like, oh, I helped develop this thing, like, strategically. Because our library was like 4 or 5 floors, and most of it was unused space. I'd get kicked out of the library all the time because I had an office in there for the newspaper, and they're like, you can't be in here overnight. It's like, but I need to, and they're like, but you can't. But just, that doesn't surprise anyone that knows me. Sure, I got kicked out of a library. Okay.
That's nothing new.
That's on brand.
Yeah, that's that. Real talk, that's that.
But
that's the usual.
But we also helped pick out the mascot while we were there. Like, we helped like develop the future for
your school. And where you at? Like,
we knew we wouldn't get to see the changes that happened, but we were like, we want to create change.
Yeah. Like, but now they have upgraded shit. Like,
we definitely do need life skills in high schools and not in college, because I learned most of my life skills in college.
We need them in both. We need them in high school and college, because some people go to these high schools that just ain't doing it. We need to go back, because when I was growing up, it wasn't a big thing for them to have a class where they taught you how to write a check, sign your name, and all this other stuff. But Darnell Ari didn't have that.
We didn't have that.
They didn't?
No.
We had.
Ari had it, but Darnell
We didn't
not.
have that at all. We had sewing classes, which I excelled at. We had the cooking classes. I excelled
Penny
at
Hills
those.
had it.
We had wood shop, which was
You know
awesome.
what
Like,
class I never understood? What is it?
The family one where you take a baby home. I didn't.
That. What is it called?
I did.
You
like,
did it.
I
What is it
signed up,
called?
parenting.
No.
Family development.
That's it.
Yeah.
Childhood development.
My mom had a daycare out of the house, so I
Yeah,
didn't need that.
it was
Family and childhood
it was
development.
childhood development.
It's
I
very
believe.
sexist because
But-
and boys should
but-
also take home a baby.
But
Yup.
I took that. I really don't think it's called.
It doesn't matter what it's called, but I know what it is.
But
But see,
yeah,
the feminist
I
in me
did.
was like, why are we teaching young? Like, I feel like there are so many other things we could have taught young women besides. Hey, let's teach you how to take care of a baby because that's where your life is headed.
Hold on,
The
wait.
fuck?
So everybody that was in my childhood development class or whatever,
Got pregnant.
yeah, everyone got pregnant and had babies, but me. I'm like.
I never
y'all
got to
just
take that
agree
class. I
with
think
it.
my advisors and
it's
stuff were
like-
like anti-me. They were like, no, we're not going to put you
But
there.
it's like I took childhood development. I took wood shop.
They wouldn't let me in the wood shop.
I took
I swear I belong.
I took it was in my I forget what class it was that sat there and taught the adulthood or whatever, adulting or whatever, and sat there and taught me how to write checks, open banking
Well, I
accounts,
had a
and stuff
class
like
at
that.
Wilkinsburg High School that I had to take the first thing in the morning. It was like before all my other classes started. It was like 30 minutes. But basically we had one person. It was a real small class, like 10, 15 people. And they would teach you those skills. Every day was a different thing. It was like how to open a bank account, how to balance a ledger. But I mean, it was...
But it's like
The thing is, the kids were so bad, it didn't matter.
I knew.
I don't remember anything from that class because I was too busy ducking from someone throwing something, or these two decided they want to fight. This one's already. It was just there's.
But it's like I knew how to do all of that stuff because I took care of everything.
Yeah.
Like I wrote
I may
checks
not have
and I
known
did
how to
everything.
balance a checkbook, but at 15, I was walking. That summer, I was walking to Rankin every day because there was a job readiness program
Mhm.
at the Rankin Christian Center, and it taught me how to create a resume. It taught me how to create write for jobs as far as memos and business writing and just what to expect when you have a job. And we did mock interviews.
And that's half the battle.
And I made a really, we had a stipend and everything, and I was so excited because my first paycheck, I bought a DVD player. I had it for like a year, and then my little brother broke it.
What? Damn. What the hell?
Slice.
I had a DVD player. Like, my first paycheck, I was like, Mom, I know what I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy me a DVD player. And I bought me a DVD player at 15 with my own money. You could tell me nothing.
But see, those are the things that I think this generation and the generation before this is missing out on.
Oh my gosh, they're missing out on a lot. Like seriously, like
The struggles of
but
having to
it's
wipe
like-
off DVDs and CDs to get
But
them to
hold
play.
on, not only
Just
that,
walking.
they don't
Yeah.
know.
Braddock to Rankin.
Hell yeah.
They don't know. Like this generation does not know about tapes. They do not know about records. They don't know about CDs.
It was so
They
funny.
don't They don't know about DVDs.
This last time when I went back for audio engineering, we had a class that was basically we were in the studio, but a part of this class was teaching us all the different formats of audio, and you have to start from the beginning, which is boring for me, but it was so interesting to hear these kids. I don't like calling them kids, but as far as I'm concerned, you're 17, you're a child.
But we
You
also,
know.
we can't discount kids or teenagers nowadays because I've learned that just like mentoring some of them, that they have more responsibilities
Yeah.
than any teenagers I've ever known at this point. Like,
yeah, the one kid was running his own store. Like, he ran his parents owned a music store, and because they had gotten older, it fell on his shoulders. When he would leave class, that's where he'd have to go. So he would come in maybe a couple minutes late, you know.
especially kids that are like in poverty, like in
Yeah.
these communities, like they're taking care of their family, not financially, but in other ways, and they're taking care of their siblings,
Yeah.
or they're the first generation to speak the language here. There's so many, like, I was like, these are young adults, and it should, like, when we were growing up, we had a childhood.
I didn't.
A lot.
a little
I
bit.
didn't.
A little bit. I mean, a childhood as far as we're concerned.
I wish I had a childhood, but I
You
really
had a little
didn't.
bit. There are some kids that didn't have half of what we had.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah, like, there are some kids that,
we had
like-
it lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I knew a couple of my friends who we
got to
might
go
have
out-
seen them on their way.
we got to go
To
out and
something.
play. We
Yeah.
got to go out and be
I
children.
knew a couple of
You
kids
done?
that did not get
Yeah, I'm
that.
done. We got to go out and be children.
Yeah.
We got to enjoy being with our friends. Like, there was no internet, so we didn't have to worry about how people would see us.
Mhm.
Because the only people that would see us were people in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
And now that whole layer of the internet creating this, and you're mashing it with growing up to become a young adult, and it's kind of creating more of a pressure than anything else.
Because now, not only do you have to be fly for, the people that you encounter outside, now you gotta be fly for the people on the internet too.
It's
you hear me?
forcing,
Mm-hmm.
it's forcing them to grow up quicker than they need to.
Yeah. When you got these little kids running around here, worried about their Facebook page, I'm like, you're 8. Why are you not playing tag? I need you to go play tag. I need to be out here working on my selfie. Like,
You know
what?
what?
No!
You know what's crazy? The youngest kid that I've ever known to have a cell phone and was on the internet was at the age of 4.
Yeah, I've
This
seen that
little
before.
girl was 4 years old. 3 going on 4.
Mhm.
And she had a cell phone
Yeah.
with actual service.
I mean, it's a lot of it's just society. We're not talking about old school values. We're
But a
talking
lot
about,
Sometimes
I think
Sometimes that phone is for the parent and not for the
Right.
kid's sake. Because this is a different society that we're growing up in. And let's say parent has to work, so kid has a cell phone at 4. So in case of emergency or just I need to entertain you.
I seen it. It was unbelievable. It's like our cell phones.
I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, let's hypotheticalize this, right? If I had a kid in this age or whatever,
They'd have a cell phone too.
not only would they have a cell phone, they'd be able to dial 911. They'd be able to write their name.
Because it's also
They know how to use a debit card.
It's
They
a
know
decent
they know how
tracking.
to drive. I'm like, fuck this shit. We just gonna fast track this. We're not gonna play
It's
no
decent
games.
when it comes to tracking. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many kids that go missing, but no one would expect that such and such kid.
Now
has
they
a
have
cell
this
phone.
new thing
I
that
just
they're doing for
think,
like kids where they're sewing. They have what is it? It's not a microchip, but it's like almost like a tracker,
Mhm.
and you can sew it into their like backpacks and stuff, so you can track them as they
But
walk
it's
back and
like,
forth or whatever.
But it's like, I think, like, for kids to have phones with services and stuff like that, like young kids, I think that's making them grow up too fast.
Well, I think
It's
it's
not-
all about monitoring too.
And
Like,
also, you have to, they have to know how to do these things. So the quicker they learn how to use technology, it's better for the kids' sake. But Angel was right, monitored it. But
like a lot of these parents are giving these kids cell phones and tablets and stuff because they want the cell phone and the tablet to be the babysitter. You
but
know,
kids
while
are
they do other
also
shit.
learning how to code on those cell phones and tablets.
I mean,
and
some
they don't
of
even
them,
know.
but most of them are. I think they give them these things to shut them up. Because let's face it, kids are loud, they're annoying. I get it, but they need to monitor this stuff. That I feel like if you give somebody a child technology, you have to also take on the responsibility to realize, okay, I've given them this technology. It opens them up to everything. So now I'm responsible for making sure.
But there are ways to.
Yeah, like the parental
gatekeepers.
controls. And you have to enable that stuff. Like, there's a lot of parents that don't do that. It's like, here,
But
go.
there's a lot of parents that do. I see both spectrums. Both sides of that.
I mean, until little Timmy learns how to hack, then you're fucked. Then, oh well.
We're all still in frame. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, where you going? We got a big butt.
Pulling up my chair. Sorry, Dad. It just keeps on going back and back.
No, you know what it is? I keep going like, I guess like this, and these things here just keep moving the table. That's all that damn Billy Glass telling me to squeeze. Outdoors are gonna turn from flubber to muscle. I'm just be...
But I guess we're at. We got another, like, we're almost in December, and the crazy thing is,
we're going back into lockdown.
we probably won't federally go into lockdown until Joe Biden becomes president.
Ain't that some shit?
Like, we could go into lockdown and say
we probably should. Well, we should go into lockdown. It would make things so much. I mean, I hate to say that. It would make things so much easier.
But it has to happen on a federal level for it to be effective.
I can't wait.
Because when it's just happening county by county.
Yeah, because it's just talk.
People are just going from, okay, your county is on lockdown, county that is lockdown.
That's what happened with that, was it the green, red, yellow phase? People were just hopping counties. Oh, they're in the green. We could go there. And it's like, okay, well, y'all the ones that announced this to everybody that we're in the green, so now, of course, they're coming here.
So, I commend the people in Allegheny County for doing what they're doing. They're awesome. They're doing the right things. They're on the right path. But an advisory...
That's the condom you were talking about?
No, this is just it's called what's it called? Megaderm or whatever.
Didn't mean to interrupt, Dad.
Yes, it's Megaderm. It's on here. I was cutting. Well, no, I was cleaning the deep fryer, and unfortunately, the deep fryer has sharp edges that I didn't know about, and my finger slipped, and I cut it down to the bone, so I had to stop the bleeding. And in order for this to be dry, so I could cook dinner. It's not a condom, damn. No, it's called Megaderm. It's the same thing that they use when they give you an IV and they put that little thin layer of whatever it is over it. That's what this is.
I keep saying
they do have finger. They're not called finger condoms.
You told me
they
it
look
was.
like. Okay, maybe they are. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah,
you remember where you left off? I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I was looking at her finger.
We're talking about Allegheny County and. So.
Yeah, but the advisory, we're beyond advisory at this point. We probably need an order, but I could foresee in the next week or two becoming an order because I'm watching the numbers.
Yeah.
That's why I'm also staying home more and getting back into March mode, as like Susie Homie.
We've been home all year.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. If you don't know already, we live in Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, doesn't matter. And they gave us a stay-home advisory, which means that you are advised to stay home. Which just means just that. We advise you to stay home, but if you decide not to take our advice, then whatever. Now, the stay-at-home order is what we need, but again, all these things have to be enforced.
That's coming in a few weeks.
They just need to find a way to enforce. Like, they're talking about fines and stuff. I'm like, that's cute. I mean, I hope.
But the police in here in Pittsburgh are about to start.
Hey, they were out last night.
No, they're actually starting. They're actually.
Yeah, they was out last night.
They're actually starting to like fine people for not having masks.
Yeah, because what is it, $25 to $300 without wearing a mask? Like, there was a couple posted outside of Aldi's. There was 2 cop cars posted outside of Giant Eagle. You know, basically, you know, they have them come in or whatever and stand. You know, like usually they have them there for theft protection. Mm-hmm. Now they just have them there to keep the peace as people come in because they want to argue. I'm not wearing a mask. I got this. Well, then you can't shop here. Instacart for you. Like, so they're there to keep the peace because we've seen a couple people that come in that.
I'm like, if the only thing I gained from this pandemic is 10 pounds and some culinary skills, I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. If that means I just get, like, the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't like it a lot because it stifled my creativity because I was like, what the hell is happening?
It's hard to switch gears like that. Mm-hmm. It's really hard.
And then just being home by yourself, it's a lot.
Because your mind wanders. Like, I find myself wanting to stay asleep a lot longer than I normally would.
I do sleep a lot. Even
Right.
though the bags under my eyes don't tell you that.
But we stay up later, too. So it's like, we go to sleep. And even sometimes we'll go to bed early. Like 9, 10 o'clock. And I still be like, nah, I don't want to get up.
But I keep like just hearing in my mind like Shakespeare wrote some of his best works on pandemic.
True. Very true.
Yeah,
Very
don't
true.
play.
Yeah. Oh man, let's not get started on the damn play, cause that was gonna be for another episode talking about these nursery rhymes. Run around the rosy. I forget the rest of it. I'm gonna have to look these nursery rhymes up. Don't sing it. Don't sing it. That doesn't mean sing it. That just meant listen to what I said. No. No. I tell you one thing that it's made me brainstorm a lot of things that I've never thought about brainstorming or even considering doing.
Mm-hmm.
One, making wine in my basement. Yes. At first, I didn't know that you could actually make wine at home until of course I Googled it. And then I went one step further and I looked for like the little kit. And I was like, that's a lot of work. This is pre-pandemic. After during all this shit, I'm like, you know what? That might not be such a bad idea. I mean, what else am I doing? I have nothing but time on my hands. Shoot, by the time this pandemic's over, I have a nice little barrel of wine down there. Like, I will have perfected this and have wine down in the basement. I've also considered buying an entire whiskey barrel. Most of my desires at this point involve me buying giant amounts of alcohol. Like the whiskey barrel. Although we know the whiskey, what is it, $90 empty, and it's probably like $500 full. But I'm like, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
One thing I did like was the fact that I did make a point this week. I was like, if the people back in the day could stay home without any technology, I'm pretty sure that we could do it with all this technology at our disposal.
We'll talk.
Like, figure it out. Like, if they closed the grocery stores and only did curbside or not even curbside, like if you walk up and you say, hey, like you
would figure it out.
Because curbside is definitely it's definitely a disadvantage to people who don't have cars. So